Wait. Um, okay, let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and let's get started. Okay, the last professional development we talked about, we worked on we'll discuss about possible ideas with the that we can work with our students with using technology. Were y'all able to use any of that, or it was kind of
Not yet. I still got it written down though.
Yeah. Likewise, I haven't get a chance to use it as yet because I'm actually doing PE itself now in the gym.
Oh yeah, I definitely understand that, man. Because I tell you, it's a lot though, really. So let's go ahead. So today, here's some other ideas for some online assessments that we can work with our students. So let's get started. Now, the purpose for giving assessments is very simple. Now, it's an integral part of instruction. It's determine whether goals of education are being met. Now, they affect decisions about grades, placement, advancement, instructional needs, curriculum, and in some cases funding, which I found that out to be interesting because especially when funding and stuff, because the more successful our kids are, I guess these more the funding that we probably go provide for our students and for the school. And more than ever, today's students, they not only need to know about only basic reading and arithmetic skills, but they also need to allow them to be faced with the world that is just constantly changing. I mean, technology is constantly changing. I mean, I'm sure if you have like one of those iPhones or any new technological device, which you thought like is good for like 1 year, and then the next year, they're gonna add something else to it. And something else to it. And you were just like, wait a minute, I just got this thing.
Yeah.
And also, they must be able to really think critically, analyze, and to make inferences. Now, why elective classes are important, just anything for like, especially in Spaulding, because number one, I think I can say this for I can speak for everyone when I say this, it sparks the creativity. The visual arts, music, PE, it allows them to express themselves a whole lot better than what math, science, or ELA would ever do. And also, it improves academic performance, believe it or not.
Yes, sir.
The elective arts, they develop the child's creativity, and also it helps hone in the skills they learn because all of them spill over to academic achievements. So I think this one for PBS seeing like a report, like Americans for like elective state that young people who participate like in the arts, maybe like 3 hours a day or 3 days a week throughout 1 year, they are likely to be recognized for academic achievement, participate in math or science fairs, or to win awards for writing essays or poems than children who do not participate. I think we kind of agree on that part.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh yes, motor skills. Of course, that's where you come in, coach, as well, because you're teaching students like how to throw like a football or how to kick a ball, or catch, or play volleyball. In your case, with the motor skills, Mr. Alexander, it's like finger placement with the instruments. And also mouth placement, like mouth movement and stuff, because how to hit certain notes, whether they're high or whether they're low. Or in my case, it's like get to the point where helping the kids with the paintbrush, like how they can use it, not just putting like color onto it, but how you can not only you add color to it, but you can add details into it, which is very important with the kids' motor skills. Confidence. It masters like a subject confidence that builds the student's confidence.
Yes, sir.
especially when they participate in our electives classes. Like if they get up on stage or they're singing, it gives kids a chance to step up out of their comfort zone, or they're performing, or like when they're performing a music instrument and they're performing in front of their family, their friends, and so forth, stepping out of their comfort zone, and to see their progress. And once they have the self-confidence, within themselves, they can continue to grow. I would probably say more like intrinsically, something like that.
Yeah.
Motivation. Of course, visual learning. Now, I guess we could say, I know I can speak for myself. I have students that they're like visual learners. When they see it, they can do it. And I'm sure that's kind of like the case as well too. Or when they watch your TV or their iPhone or iPad or computer, like elective classes, it teaches students how to interpret, criticize, and use visual information based on how to make choices. I mean, anything else, like how they can read music notes. You can show them how to exercise correctly, how to stretch, or how to catch, or basically how to, shoot the ball effectively. Then of course, decision making. It helps strengthen problem solving and critical thinking. So basically, like students, like how do I express the feeling through dance? How do they play this character? The learning how to make choices and decisions will certainly carry over into their education and other parts, especially as they continue to hone in those valuable skills as they become adults. Now we got different types of testing. There's different types of assessments. Of course, most of all the core subjects are basically, this is where they make the money. Almost every standardized assessments. Almost every school district now administers state mandate standardized testing. Every student at a particular grade level is required to take the same test, and everything about the test is very standard. From the questions itself to the length of time of students they have to complete it. Now, basically, this is mostly our assessments, usually. The alternative assessments, which they call authentic, comprehensive, or performance assessment. Basically, usually designed by us to gauge students' understanding of the lesson. Like examples of those are like measurements are like open-ended questions, written compositions, oral presentations, projects, like scientific experiments, or portfolios of studios' work, which I can speak that for myself. Okay. There we go. Now, I'm sure based on what the PLCs or what other meetings that y'all have, I'm sure you're very, very aware about the data about how students are. Now, I was able to pick this up on the state education department website. And I was looking at this here. So basically, well, of course, these are our 9th grade students here, but then these are our 7th and 6th graders. But when they were 6 or 7, like look here, like our 7th graders, when they get to ELA, you notice that they're up to 42% that does not meet expectations. And then of course, you got over here to nearly 58%, they're approaching or exceeds expectations. And then others, they got approaching, they meet expectations and exceed expectations. They met the criteria or exceeds it, and then so forth. But this one problem right here, about 42%. So when I looked at it like subcategories, do you know who's the ones that basically, I would say about at least 30% of them that don't meet expectations are African-American students.
Oh.
Matter of fact.
That's not surprising. Yeah.
No, it's not surprising. Matter of fact, let me show you this real quick. Yeah, so basically, I'm gonna go here to test. Middle. I scroll down and you can get access. Basically, anybody can have access to these.
Yeah.
So, right here with state assessments, like of course, all we're doing with the SC ready test, and we click on
2021.
then let's see about right here. Okay, here's the grade level. Then we choose the district. I'm gonna scroll down to Darlington, grade level, and we go down to Spaulding. And then we go ahead and review this. And review the scores right here. And we scroll down
do this.
about right here. So let's go to grade level and demographics. Okay, right here. So this one here, here. Look at this. 57%, mostly of our Black students that are 7th grade, the ELA that does not meet expectations. That's very high.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's very high. So let me scroll over here compared to all this. Now see, it breaks it down within the males and the females. And look at this. Most of them are males.
Man.
And this one, it approaches and meets it or exceeds expectations by 42%. So, but when you break it down, you scroll down, and right here, you get mostly 57 for the Blacks, nearly 24%. So when you break it down like that, and the weakness probably, so when you go here and you report in category, then you review the scores. Look at this. Informational text is basically probably the weakest part of our students.
Yeah.
Literary text,
Performance,
meaning and content, and also language, craft, and structure. You scroll down, then you get to writing. These numbers are very high. So, which explains why Principal Miller wants us to focus on literacy.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go back. Here real quick. As a matter of fact, let's go and check out our current 6th graders. So hold on one sec. Let me go scroll to Darlington. Let's see, grade level. Let's see. I'm gonna go to, there we go. Lamar.
I don't know if I want to look at those, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to look at those.
Here we go right here. So basically, this is it right here. These are our current 6th graders. Out of 74%, 52% of them don't meet the expectations. And then look at this. This is very low, basically like 49%, less than 50% either approach or meet expectations. Then we get over to the math. It's even higher now. 63% that don't meet expectations, and look at this, and it's less than 40 that approaches. So, and then we go over a little, and then let's break it down real quick. So, right here, so of all the students,
64.
let's see, right here, most of the female, 40, like less than 50% don't meet expectations. The females, about 53%. And when you break it down, look at this. And look at and then the all the Blacks, nearly 65%. And then when you look at it, and look at this. Oh, there's none. Well, I'm not sure they got the data, but it's hardly like.
What is it that you think we can do to get to these Black or African American children?
Well, very simple as this. For one thing, I can speak for one thing, especially when we get to these kids. well, one thing we have to do is we have to teach things or teach words that they're not accustomed to.
Yeah.
So because they're thinking like, because they see us, they see our skin, we supposed to talk the way they're supposed to be accustomed to. But see, here's the thing though, is the problem is, even like if we teach them a certain way, like, or we teach them words that they're not familiar to, it's not going to be carried over across the board, because they go back home, they listen to the same, they hear the same stuff, and then even with their parents to that nature. So I know it's like there's only so much that you can do compared to, like in your case, for maybe like an hour, maybe more so, compared to the rest of hours outside, especially with all these TikTok videos. They don't help it, unless you could also develop something like TikTok, to how they learn different types of words, different types of meaning and stuff. Now, here's some ideas that we can do to help keep honing in like literacy and also assessments through the use of technology. We go back here. Now, of course, we've already went through the data. Here's some other. Now, of course, everyone's familiar with Mastery Connect. So, which it helps teachers identify levels of understanding and targeting students for intervention. Now, the one part about it, I mean, this is pretty good, especially you can get like certain tests and ideas from other teachers. The only knock for me personally is the way it's kind of like, especially for the high school. Like I have like Art 1s, 2, and 3 in one class. And the coding is terrible. It's like, I can't, it's like, it'll be easy if I had one class that like Art 1, one class, and the other classes advanced, but they just kind of like just threw them all in there. And then it's like, you're teaching 3 classes in one period. And then like your standards could be off. You could have a standard for one group, and then you have to have a standard for others and stuff. And then you got like, and then you got students that they just put them there just to put them there. So basically it's kind of hard to work with. Like, well, are they low? Are they novice? Are they advanced? I mean, are they intermediate or they're advanced or so forth to that nature? But I mean, overall, like once you set like your mastery, and then you give them the code to take it, and then you see how they master it based on a certain standard and stuff. So I know most of the high school, we make our exam and we give it to our students and stuff. But the only aggravation I get out of this one is because it's like the classes are so, I have so many classes in the high school, but they couldn't give me like a specific group that I could just put it in easy. But it also is very helpful. Now, another one is Kahoot. They love Kahoot, but I also know this is a great way to collect data as well too. That know who participated and who didn't. Like if you can do something like, for me, I would probably put like definition of elements and principles, and I can put a picture for them to identify it and stuff. And then towards the end, they'll collect like who did what, like how many they got right, how many they got wrong, and they show like a high percentage and stuff. So, it's very good for administrative quizzes, facilitating discussions, collecting survey data, and of course, the class size is unlimited. All right, let me blow this up real quick. Now, I know the 6th grade, well, my 7th graders, they like this one, which is Blookit, which it takes on like a moderate classroom review game. It aims to match with the education to create like a learning experience. So basically, like I guess you can show like, coach, you can show like a picture, like what type of exercise this is. Could it be jumping jacks, or could be push-ups, or something to that nature? Or Mr. Alexander, you can show what type of note. Could it be like a treble clef, or basic? Well, it's been a minute since I did note, so please don't, please,
no, you
don't laugh at me.
You're good. No, you're good. You're good.
Or like, was it like a half note, whole note, or something to that nature?
Yeah.
And then you could probably spread it around like certain like instruments, like percussions, or I'm sorry, but the drums are percussions, are more like your bass horns, the flutes, clarinets, and so forth, like which notes are, you can identify. In my case, it can be something to the nature of like what type of art material or so forth to that nature. Yes. So corrective. Now, this one is a formative assessment that helps teachers and learners to assess understanding, basically in real time, through the use of more quizzes, questions, but also gives you like reflective questions. So basically, like if I give my students like a reflection, like, okay, do you think you were successful in your artwork? Yes, no, maybe. And if it's no, explain what could you do to make it better. Sometimes you gotta get their brains thinking and so forth. And multiple choice, you got open-ended questions, just like I just mentioned, and then you get the summative assessments. And I checked it out; it's pretty good, very helpful. Now, this one is a very good one right here. Why is there me? This is where teachers can build like interactive worksheets, and the kids can operate. You can just give it to either the Schoology, and they can operate it from with their iPad and so forth. And then of course, there's a lot of information from like a community of information from other teachers. You can load your web pages if you need YouTube, kind of like Edpuzzle, but a little bit more advanced. And also you can enter the voice recordings as well too. And that concludes it. So those are the ideas that we can work with as far as with the assessments and stuff. But I think more part about like for literacy, which obviously add math, which we can in our lessons we can incorporate like with music, you already got math inside. I mean, already been incorporated and stuff. So basically, and I'm just kind of thinking like for let's just say for this basketball season, you can basically like for different, I'm not sure, like for math or whatnot, or they can measure like the length of a basketball court, or the width of the basketball court, or length for the basketball
goal. How the hoop should be.
Yes, like for regulation,
the weight of the ball and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like for regulation and so forth. And I know for me, for one thing, for optical illusions or our part, which I give them like certain measurements, and for them to follow. And one thing is always so curious though, because when they're constructed their portfolios, it's like the only thing that's always been the Achilles heel is their inability to read a ruler. Because to read a ruler, because to create it, they have to know about certain measurements, like a half an inch. You'd be surprised that a lot of kids don't know how to read a ruler.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You'd be surprised. Okay, I'm like, go ahead, mark off half inch on both ends of the poster. And I'm like, okay, before we do that, show me like what's a half an inch. And then, oh my goodness. And I don't think you hardly see this, but I tell you, of course, right here, this is the inches part. I see so many kids, they pay attention on the centimeters. I'm like, that's not it. And it's basically right in front of them. Basically, it definitely exposes like their ability to kind of read like a ruler and so forth. So, but it's also like learning it to like a learning lesson, because you're like, okay, so I'm sure they know how to do a half an inch. Now, if I told them to do like a quarter of an inch, I think I probably lost them.
Oh no, definitely. Because I have trouble with just explaining why a quarter note is called a quarter. It's 1/4 of a whole note. So they don't really get it. So I had to break it down to money. So a dollar is a whole, right? You got 4 quarters. 1/4 is a quarter of a dollar. I try to break it down, they still don't get it. Even with I even asked my kids to sign their name. Everybody printed their name. Now, granted, that's not. They stopped teaching cursive in elementary, so a lot of them don't even know how to write in cursive.
Yeah, which basically it's going to be very valuable, especially because they're requiring them to sign their name, especially like as they get older. If they want to purchase like a car or purchase like a house or write a checkbook or write a check, you have to sign your name. Especially when they're filling out applications, which of course, with days being so technology savvy, they probably don't require them to do that. But I know back in the day, we had to write it.
Learn that. Yeah,
we had to copy, especially when we had to take a practice test. There was like a agreement that we had to write in cursive. It said, write this, do not print.
Yep. I remember doing that. Yep.
So yeah. So this is definitely a lot of that stuff that's going on. Maybe we could probably put that back in, but I know I kind of see how things are, because you see how we got a lot of work to do, and we get that the core subjects. Hey, those are the money makers. I mean,
yes, sir.
I mean, they're like the Michael Jordan, we're like Scottie Pippen. Okay.
Supporting cast.
Yeah, so we get that. We get that. I'm like, they're LeBron James, and we're just the crew that's trying to help them win. So we get that. But we still play a valuable part.
Yes, sir.
Too. So you've already seen the data. You know how where our students are. Now this is where they at. This is where they at last year. Hopefully they've gained some improvements, but we'll find out once they take their test later on in the year.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully, it's kind of up to us to kind of help hone in those skills.
Yeah, I've been trying to make them read, man, but they don't. Like, they'll do a worksheet and they gotta do fill in the blanks, and the answer would be literally right in front of them. And they
exactly. And you see why, and you see they're struggling with informational text.
Yeah, and it's all information, like it's telling you, like literally
the answer.
Yeah, it's bad, honestly. And I think COVID really did a number on a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
like you were saying, as much as we do, when they go home, it's like it retracts. Like it doesn't stick with them. You know, as much words as I could tell them, they don't use that stuff, and it just stop. So I try my best. I can say that when it comes to using certain words and stuff like that. Some of them pick them up, some of them don't. But
yeah, because I've mentioned ones I'm like, you hurry up and finish up. You can't procrastinate. And one girl was like, "What does procrastinate mean? What does that mean?"
Yeah, I hit him with expeditiously one day. He was like, "Huh?
Oh,
Expedition?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah, you got to move with quickness. So yeah, they probably like, "Wow,
I
don't know what is that."
Right? Yeah, they'd be lost.
It just, it's a battle, but I know, but like I said, we just gotta do the best we can.
Yeah,
and then because that's, because by the end of the day, the success of the school is based on their performances on those standardized tests. So we can do everything we can. Now I do have one more professional development. I probably would say it probably next week, but I'll let y'all know when, and we'll go from there. But I got any other questions?
No, just like what you did with the last slide, I would love for you to share this slide with us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, same.
Yes, sir.
All right, I definitely do that, man. All right. Well,
gentlemen,
I thank you so much.
All right, man. I appreciate it, sir.
Y'all have a good one, and if I don't see y'all tomorrow, enjoy your Thanksgiving break.
You
all
too,
right, same to you, man.
All right, man.
I'll enjoy it.
Thanks. All right. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, same.